TV?
No, now we're live. You did not.
I didn't burp.
Hi, everyone. You
TV.
missed that.
You missed it. I
Hi,
burped.
everyone. You missed it.
I burped. It was
You
really
missed it.
disgusting. Anyway.
Live. Oops. We're live. Hello, everyone. Day 3.
It's day 3 of how many days?
Well,
we to go to school when I was little, 3, 4 years old. I had an invisible friend. And this is kind of like that. It's like I have all these invisible friends.
It's true.
That show up to listen to all the goodness that we have to give, right?
It's true.
So, hello, all my invisible friends.
It's invisible friends.
It really is like that. I'm like,
I know, but it's great to just talk and chat. You know,
well, it's time for us to get together.
Yeah. So, cheers, everyone.
Yes, you know,
cheers.
Happy 4th of July.
Yeah,
well,
tomorrow.
It's not quite tomorrow, but
this
is
still
thing.
This is still the Lot 94 cab from Napa Valley.
Not me.
I haven't gone through that bottle yet. I am open to suggestions.
I have a George Killian's. It is a circa 2024, and it was brewed somewhere in the US of A.
Oh, we have someone joining us. Hi, guys. Where's Murphy?
Oh, look at that.
Murphy's suckling over there on his blankie. He is suckling on his blankie over there.
The boy is suckling. We actually had, it's kind of crazy. We had an invisible friend make themselves visible.
Yes, we had an invisible friend.
This is really something.
So
anyway.
Happy Wednesday night. This is
Yes.
day 3. We're going to go to day 7 and potentially to day 30 with all of your support. If you want to hear us every day for 30 days with different questions, we would love to keep going. So today, he never knows what question I'm going to ask each day, which that have to do with the same kind of things that we teach. So these are all very relevant questions to your life, I'm certain. So today, day 3. I can't get my mind too quiet. I struggle with meditation and I have negative thoughts often. What do I do? You first, because I went first yesterday.
You could be in trouble. Could really be me an answer. Well, I'll be honestly. I think that person is, because I guess you could say I was that person. Is perfect for ketamine. Absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
Because the ego is going so hard and so strong, and ketamine can really shut it down for a little while. So using, so why I say ketamine, because ketamine can kind of knock it's like the record keeps skipping and it can knock the needle. So then once you do that a couple of times, but the thing with meditation is people say, well, I meditate, nothing happens. And, Deepak Chopra, who I am a huge fan of, and have been for probably the last 40 years of my life, between the thoughts that they start to get here, maybe a second to 5 seconds, maybe 10 seconds, the light can get in and the light can fill that inside of the wheel with light. So ketamine just opens those up. So, and psychedelics will open that up. We like ketamine because it's the next step up before you start really going into, psilocybin or ayahuasca or bufo or anything else that really, starts to open you up. And by opening you up, all you're doing is you're taking your ego offline for a little bit so you can do that. So for me, the answer to the question, that would be the first step, is to, it's not working. And here's the thing, I'm very cognizant of people, they want to quit. So when they're doing meditation and they've done it for a long time and that mind is still going so much, because listen, you're immersed in it. If you're in the ocean, you're going to be wet. It's the same thing. If you're in the world, if you're in, the human construct, you're going to be human. So to meditate is to really be out of that, the matrix, so to speak. So I think to get that real kickstart, ketamine's a perfect example. And now she begins.
So I'll start like at one point at the very like entry point, and then I'll take it all the way to a more broad perspective. So the starting over here, the first thing that I want to say is if you are just starting to meditate, you're not going to get your mind to be quiet.
No, it's not going to happen.
You can't. That's not really allows you to quit. The benefits will come, I promise. It just takes some time. So that's the first thing I'll say is not to expect that to have 15 minutes, even if it's only 15 minutes. I do it at least 5 days a week. So you, sorry, I got distracted by Amy's comment. It was so great.
Me too.
But building up to that, to have that massive experience. So don't give up. And then to go even deeper than that, I would say people who are already on sort of a spiritual or self-healing path, like he said, and they're meditating, but during the day, they still notice negative thoughts and, they just can't get that. I mean, I did a meditation this morning and I got my mind quiet for a minute at a time, and then it would go off, and then I'd bring it back. And, I played this game for 45 minutes this morning, and I don't beat myself up for it anymore because I'm showing up anyways, And so it's not just how to do it in a meditation, it's how to do it in your life. It's huge. It's huge. It's huge.
It's totally huge.
It's huge. And then to take it the furthest step down, I will concur with what he said, that if you have been on the path for a bit, I'm going to say here, I'm not going to be afraid to say this. I'm going to say this.
Honey,
I'm going to say this.
Oh, wait a minute now.
I'm going to say this. If you are a Dr. Joe Dispenza student and you have been practicing his work and his meditations for a while, and you feel like, man, I am meditating every day, but I'm still struggling. And that is like heartbreaking to us, So what we have found is that ketamine, some people just have very, very thick. I was randomly thinking like people who may have a problem with ketamine, especially in the spiritual community.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking it was kind of like, I think it was because we had this conversation the other day about the microwave, how like some grandparents were like, we're not going to use the microwave.
Yeah.
But obviously, eventually most acquiesced to, well, why would I not use a microwave if it's quicker, right?
Yeah.
So it's not to say that you have to use ketamine or that you can't quiet your mind without it. Of course not. But it is a technology that can assist you. It doesn't mean you have to do it all the time. It means you can come to one of our retreats, experience the ketamine and the breath work, go home, and your meditations will be different from the ketamine because of what it's doing in the brain.
So all right. So can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
So what you talk about this retreat, what happens at these retreats? I don't understand. What
Pure
you
magic.
just...
No, I was, today I was contemplating on our retreats as I was doing some work and thinking about the magic that occurs. And we say magic, but what does that really mean? I think for me, it means that when you bring a group of people together for 3 days and everyone's sort of in the unknown, that's when the unknown can happen. So when I say magic, I mean the unknown, meaning people having experiences that are beyond anything that they thought was possible, healing guilt that they've carried. One woman, she was in her early 50s. Her sister died when she was 12. She's been carrying that her whole life. In the second day in Journey 2, I watched her let it go.
Yeah.
She came out of that ketamine journey, and every single person there at that retreat was like, who are you? Holy shit. Like, what happened to you? Something changed. So that's what I mean when I say magic. Like, what is that? 35 years of guilt weighing you down, and it was gone.
Yeah.
That's not to say she doesn't have to do the work when she gets home, but it's to say that she experienced something that she potentially maybe couldn't experience by just meditating or just doing this or just doing that. It took the ketamine because it took getting the ego trying to block that trauma out of the way for her to connect with.
What was so, for the last, we just did our third one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for each one of them, everybody was ready to go. When they came, some came well, a lot of them came not knowing anybody, by themselves, and they were ready to unpack the suitcase. Like, this is what happened to me, and I'm ready to let this go. And we talk about it, and I think that's huge. When really the magic starts is people willing to sit there and say, I'm going to tell you people something I've never, this has changed you in a way, your direction, your life, and in both, how it's affected you, harmed you, all that. And now you're willing. And it really interesting. I'm thinking of one person at our last retreat who was just like, I'm scared to say this, but I'm going to say it. And then when they hear it, they realize that it's not funny, and they see the other side of it. And it's just such a beautiful experience. Number one, to be free of that, of whatever, when you're in those journeys and for those, 3 days. And then the after effect of, going back home, and now you've met all these people that you have bonded with. You don't even know who they are or where they live, and yet I can't imagine. There's a healing process to that, and we have to go through that process in order to say, okay, so now I'm ready. And maybe that's maybe that's a couple months in order for that to move through to where you're like, okay, so now I've been in the fire. I'm out of the fire. I'm ready to move through this. I'm ready to let this go. And, when you're in the throes of it, when you move through that, because I think of somebody else who came to the retreat, right? And she just lost somebody, her husband. And it was like, okay, I'm ready to let all of this go. I'm ready to let go of loss. I'm ready to connect again, because you are such at a low density. Even the ketamine sometimes can't get you there. You know what I mean? It can make you feel better, but sometimes we don't want to. It sounds counterintuitive. I want to feel better, but sometimes you just raise yourself up enough to where then the ketamine can really roll you out. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Well, I'll end it with this. I'll give you guys a sort of more of a scientific medical explanation of. And so what ketamine is doing in your brain actually is quieting what neuroscientists call the default mode network, which the default mode network is basically the part of you that is your identity that's sort of stuck in loops and cycles of thoughts constantly. And so it shuts that default mode network off so that you can see new perceptions. You have access to new perceptions, new awarenesses due to neuroplasticity, because your brain neurologically is making different connections with different neurotransmitters. So new synaptic connections does this. Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about the connections. This is actually, they've studied, this is what ketamine is doing. They don't know how ketamine is doing this in the brain. It seems to be totally intuitive and is working with people in the way that they need, meaning it's turning off some neurotransmitters and turning on others. It's like turning on and off Christmas lights. It's doing it intuitively in the brain. So if you're sort of stuck in these loop patterns of thoughts that are negative, that literally is what ketamine is designed for as a treatment for therapy, to help you get out of that stuck cycle of the negative thoughts. And you're neuroplastic for up to 72 hours after one session. That's why we go 3 days in a row and do 3 sessions in a row. That time after is crucial and critical to creating new thought patterns. And the instead of positive thought patterns, instead of negative thought patterns, positive ones that actually will create a better life for you. So
there you go. Perfect.
There you go. Hopefully that was helpful. We gave you some tools that you can start right now. And then if you're ready,
you said that.
Yeah, if you're ready, then of course, every single day I'm going to put a link to the free masterclass that we did that goes into depth about the retreats. We go over who the retreats are for.
Still suckling, bro?
What you can expect from a retreat. And then we also go over 5 of the most asked questions, because we get a lot of questions about these retreats. And there really is 5 very common ones. So in that masterclass, we go over all so that you have a really good idea when you get to the end of it. Yeah, I think I want to hear more. And then we schedule an informational call and we can answer any personal questions you have and explain the process a little bit more. So I'm going to put that link to that masterclass every single day in the comments. And then, today, since I talked about open focus, I'll put a link to that book on Amazon. And yeah, I guess that's it for today.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's it for today.
All right, you guys. Well, day 3, we'll see you tomorrow with another question. I'm not going to tell you because he doesn't know.
I don't know.
But tomorrow will be nothing. Another relevant
I know Murphy's
question.
suckling, and I know I'm in the trailer. That's pretty much it.
So last minute reminder, if you want to know when we go live tomorrow, just make sure that you subscribe right now, subscribe to the channel and click the little red bell next to subscribe, because if you do that, you will get a notification on your device that we're going live, because we never know what time we're going live.
Yeah,
and we don't
keep it in the unknown.
Yes, we like to be
Point. I mean,
we'll see you tomorrow.